My dad had just passed away. And somehow I had complete peace and strength and joy when he passed away. Before he passed away, he asked, what are you going to do? Because I've always had my dad to take care of me. And I told him I'm going to live. And so when my dad passed away, I made it a point that I was going to live, that my circumstances weren't going to define me. And I used that to motivate me to do the best that I could, to be the best version of me. And that's when I started speaking, public speaking. And I followed my platform that I had used for Miss Louisiana, which was Building a Better You. And it was like a piggyback off of a book that my dad wrote that was entitled Building a Better You. I would go around to certain organizations and speak about my life when I was competing for Miss Louisiana versus my life after my dad passed away. One was a mountaintop, one was a valley. But yet, in the valley, you can still be used and you still have a purpose and you still have a reason to live. And not just get up every day, breathe, work, do the same thing over and over, but truly live and laugh and love. And during that time, my son's father was still in prison and I was not talking to him. I was no longer going to see him because I felt like he should be beside me during this time. I worked through the grieving process of losing my dad, and let me just say this: there's a grief when you physically lose someone, and there's a grief when you lose someone that's still alive, and they do not compare. I learned to live a new normal without my dad, and that void is still huge. He was such a big part of my life, always encouraging me, always encouraging my son, and he was just always there. And so 2013, I lost my rock. And I was having to learn how to stand on my own 2 feet and hold my head up and remember everything that my dad had ever taught me. During this time, there's a lot that happened during these years, but I'm not going into all the details. So in 2015, my son's father gets out of jail. And it was a roller coaster ride because my family did not like him. They did not want me to be with him. They weren't a fan of my son's father. So he gets out of jail and I don't know what to do. It's like I had to choose my family or him. And it was, when I tell you it tugged at my heart, I can't even describe it or put it into words. I, once again, grieved. Because no matter what decision I made, I lost someone. Either I lost my son's father or I lost my family. So he gets out of jail. Of course, we do go and meet with him. We do things together as a family. And during this time, his mom gets sick. We didn't know that she had been battling Parkinson's for a long, long time. She hadn't been diagnosed. So I watch him take care of his mom while he's trying to stay sober. He's out of prison. A year later, he loses his mom. So I lose my dad. My little boy loses his granddad while his dad's in prison. And now he's burying his Mimi. At a very young age, he's lost a lot. And I feel like some of this made my heart harder, it toughened it. And it was I felt like we just experienced loss after loss after loss. We buried his mom. He was not sober. And he did not stay sober. Not too long after that, he went back to prison. So in and out, all drug related. So when you ask me why was he in prison for 14 years, again, he was not in prison for 14 years. He was in and out. He struggled with his sobriety. And life was just throwing curveballs left and right. And I can't catch a curveball. And so these years are just a blur. I was in survival mode. How do I get out of this valley that I'm in? How can I teach my son that this is not normal? How do I give him a better life? So I had some digging to do. You know, I had to put on my big girl pants and take care of my son. So here we are again. His dad's in jail.